Let's get a start demo first of user management system with Firebase Auth in .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. So here my application got running. So this is my window application and a desktop application, and this is web applications, and this is that mobile application. So this is all that platform is running. So now you are able to see here that user management list is appearing over here along with their roles, like whatever that roles. So it have that, suppose this user has created, and this user has a admin and user roles, but we are another user which have that another roles, right? Like admin, user, and HR. So those we can assign over here using that edit button, and also we have a delete button so that user can delete, means admin user can delete also that users, the particular user. Same things for mobile application as well. Everything will work for all that platforms, right? So let's start to the complete flow. So first what I will do, so let me update this user. For example, is a desktop application. Here I want to update this user as a, instead of admin, I have to remove that admin user from here. So what I need to do, simply I just click edit. Once I click edit, you are able to see the all that information that got populated, like what is that display name and email name, and what is that mobile number. And also in the desktop app you can see there's a user role, like currently that user have assigned these two roles, right? Admin and user. So what I need to do, I simply just remove this admin and I can just assign another role, like for example user and HR, right? And then once I update, so it got updated, and now see you are able to see updated user roles as well. And not only this, you can just go back to again here, you can just update that mobile number as well, and email, and desktop as means display name as well. So let me quickly update that user information. For example, this particular user has a this phone number, so I want to just change it to like something this, right? And once I update, so it got updated, right? So as of now I'm not visible over here, but yeah, once you click again, you will to see that updated user email means phone number will be over here along with that selection as well. So same things you can do web application as well. Like once I go back and that refresh, now see, just refresh, you will get that same data, like what is the updated in your desktop app. Same things over here, but yeah, if you want to update over here that particular role, so you can also do that over here, right? So for example, let me add one more role for this particular user, and also let me change it to something, right? And just update it. So once I update it, so it's got update, see, roles is updated, also that number will got updated. So let me verify it. Now see, that number also got updated along with their roles updated. So like that you can just update it your user from that web application as well, and same thing you can do from that mobile as well, right? So let me go back to that any hotel list, and then go back to your user list. So got updated, it's also getting the data from that Firebase, and that get updated. Also you can do just update over here as well. It's mobile, and see in this mobile has a little different UI, right? So for mobile has a different things, like not a drop down, it's just selections. So once you just clicked over here, you are able to see what are the user you are just got selected over here. So for example, as of now these three user roles has been assigned to this particular user, right? So what I need to do, simply I just remove this guy, right? And just okay. And also if I want to update something, this number, so I can just update it this guy, and once I update it, so it got updated, right? And that I can check it from here, or that I can check it from that web application as well. So let me show you from here that as well. So click on that. Now see, it's got updated. Also that selection got changed, like previously it was 3, but now it's only 2, right? So like that actually we can implement over here in this session complete that user management system, like how we can update that user, how we can add that user, how we can assign that role, particular role. So complete things we will implement in this session. So before we start implementation, I'm especially recommend, if you first time visit my channel, so go to my channel, which is .NET Real World Example, and here this is one of the series is going on, like this series actually, Firebase Blazor Blazor hybrid app with the Firebase. So last time we have completed this session, so I'm especially recommend watch this one first, like because we have to complete all that, login, registration and sign out, and display that user, what the login user, and also token, how we can keep it the token. So that everything actually we have to complete in this session. So please watch this one and then proceed this one. And also I will take the same example, same sample from this session. And also I must also recommend one more thing. Now see, this is also you can do, like how we can use that Firebase auth REST API, so that I can manage that our user, like how we can update the user, how can either other information we can update it, and how we can assign that roles and all. So that also we can handle by that REST API, but I will not use the REST API. I will use that one of the library which will provide that Firebase auth. So that way we'll use. But yeah, you can use this guy also, right? So now moving to implementation. So same sample which we have done in the last time. So I will continue this guy. So close this guy, and this is I already open, right? So which have this three project, right? One is the share project, one is that web application project, right? And also one is that .NET MAUI applications. This is a complete .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app architecture. So that we will, so let's start implementation. And before that implementation, I want to see what is that existing flow is going on, right? What is that existing implementation we have, so that after that we will start further implementations. So before that, I'll just close everything so that there is no conflictions. So let me close all that stuff, whatever I already open, and let me close that one also. So once it's done, now let me run it. First, let me run it on web applications. Let me run. And now see, already we have a token, so already it is logged in, right? And along with that username, and I can see only that hotel list, right? But there is a no user management system over here. So that we will implement, don't worry about that. So first of all, what I need to do for that, let me close that. So you have to just logged in, or you have to go to logged in your console Firebase google.com, and here I already explained actually where I can manage all that user and all, right? So there is a section, and where is a section actually authentication. So if you go to that authentication, or let me show you that first. From you have to go to that this console firebase.com and go to that particular project which you want to do, and go to that authentication section. You are able to see that user section, whatever that user you have currently, you are able to see all that information over here. So whatever user I will just create it from here, that will add it over here, Firebase authentication, right? And if you want to delete also, you can delete it. But yeah, what I need to do, I have to require to this Firebase authentication user, so I have to require one secret or private key over here, so that we can coordinate in our application. So what I need to do, simply just select this guy and go to that project setting, and little that scroll down, and here that see all that information on that particular project. It is general information, but yeah, we have to go to that service account. So click on that service account, and once you loaded this service account, now see, you're able to see this is that actually way you can just connect it in your application, like whatever that application, like .NET or Node.js or Java, Python or Go. So there's a sample code, but yeah, we require this generated new private key, right? So once you click generated this guy, so it will just generate it. Like for example, let me just create it and generate it. So once you click over here, it will be download automatically over here. See, now it is asking to where is you want to download. So just simply you just download it over here, right? And we will use this file in a later, right? So that is first things we have to just generate it, new private key, and keep it your place, and then we will use in our .NET MAUI application over here. So first what I can do, simply I can just create another folder, right, where I can keep that that file, right? So before that, I just open my shared library. Here I have to just implement that user management screen, right? So where I can do that, simply I can go to that account section, and it's already done. Everything is from the account system, like login, log out, and registered. So I will create another things over here, which is that user user list. So first we will bind that user over here, so that this shared component can I can use for that all other platform as well. So let me just create a new component, right click on that, create a new Razor component, and over here let me put at the name using a Razor component, right? So this is that name. And first of all, before we start everything, we have to decorate that component as a page user, so that I can just call as a user, so I can call this component, right? So this is done, and then we have to record, some things, some additional logic over here, so that we will do. So let me start create a one method, right? That a private method which we can that get the data, load the data from that Firebase auth. Like for example, if you see, go to again that Firebase console and go to that authentication section. So whatever that user I have in a Firebase authentication, that I can just get it from here and load it over here, and then we can bind in this user's component, right? So that's why we have to just create a new method over here. So let me just create it a new method, for example load data, or whatever name you can put it, like load data or load user data from that auth, or like that, right? So that we can do that. Okay, and then simply I just use a try catch, so that we can avoid that exception and all, and we can just make it this guy, and that's all. Okay, so now first we have to call one we have to record actually one package to call, one library, or we can call other one a package which we can interact in our that secret key, and then they can returning the data, whatever that user data, right? So that package name would be like Firebase admin, right? So that we have to install. So let me right click on that shared folder and go to that NuGet package, and here let me look for that package. It's a Firebase admin. Now see, this is that Firebase admin package which will interact, or you can see it is a Firebase SDK enabled to server.NET developers to integrate the Firebase things, right? So simply you just install this guy in your applications, install whatever the latest one, install it and apply that. So once you apply, now also just make sure it is a green tick, so that it is properly installed. So once you install, go back to your here, and here actually we can just call that class, like see, this is that class actually Firebase auth, which is provide that package, and we required import one namespace, which is that Firebase or admin auth. So instead of declare over here, I will just declare in the main global place, so that I can use other component as well, right? So let me place it over here. Now here what I can do, simply I have to use the default instance, and then you can see many options over here. Like you can just create custom token, create a user, delete user, everything, whatever that user related things you can do over here, like list of users and revoke refresh tokens, so update user, and also set that custom user claims as well, right? So most of the things we have used over here as update user and custom claims, and and that create user, right? So those things we will use, but as of now we have to use over here as a list of users, right? So where is the list of users? So list users and asyncs, and inside see there is a overload method over here, like list of user options, whatever the options you want. But as of now I want only all that user, right? So if you want to use that particular user and all, you can just using that parameter and you can pass it over here. But yeah, as of now I want everything, so I can just simply pass it as a null, right? And once you get the null, I can store as a variable over here, whatever the data or we are getting that response, right? So once I call this guy, I can get that page enumerable data, right? So if you mouse over here just this function, like see, it is a returnable things over here, like it will get return that export user records, right? So whatever that is report user we are getting, now what I can do, I can simply use this guy and dot, I can use as row response, right? And then as row response we can use get async enumerator. Like this is the way actually to get that data, because we can't directly get that all that user, but yeah, this is the way which is provide that documentation as well, which I can share with you. You can check out as well that Google Firebase documentation, right? So now we are getting that response. Finally we are getting that response, and then once I get that response, we can iterate or we can check, okay, what is that next movement section and all, right? So simply you have to use that while loop, right? And in this while loop, simply response that move next, like whatever the response we are getting, we have to iterate, you know, that infinite loop over here, right? And then once I getting that data, finally we can just use that response, right? Whatever that response over here, we can just store as a current. So also we can just finally, now we are getting that whatever that return type we saw in this over here, right? So this is the return type, right? Exported user record, so which will be are stored over here. Now we are getting that whatever that current response we are getting, we are storing over here. And then here now we can iterate for each loop and we can get the data. So there is a many way you can use it, like simple link you query and all, you can just use it. But yeah, I will use over here as a simple way so that you can easily understand how we are getting. So see, this is a response, and this in this response, if you see, there are the users, right? Also next space token and all, everything is over here. But yeah, we required only users, so I can use it as a users, and then we have to store that user, and then we can keep it in our model and we can store it over here. So for that, what I will do, whatever it is that we have to need to conversion over here, right? So we have to just create a one model which we can just storing over here, and we can just keep it that. So for that, I already just created one model in the last time. If you go back over here, and yeah, that model is over not there. So let me just create a one model, so which we can just, you know, getting the data of that user auth, right? So if you go to that user auth, now see, yeah, this is that model actually I'm looking. So yeah, this model which have that all the information which we record, like user ID, display, email and photo, and this guy, right? But yeah, for now we record few more few more property over here, like for example, phone number, which will not over there, which will be update also. So that's why we record that phone number. And also we required user role, so that we can just create it as a user role property as well, like roles of the list of the string of the roles, right? So these two additionally property we have to add it. So once you add, now go back, and here we can simply just create a as a user list of that user, list of the info, means whatever that user. So we can store it, and we can just keep it store one by one inside this list. So that actually we are trying to do over here. So simply I already just created, right? So what I can do, I can just create it over here, and let me close this guy. Now see, I just created an info model, right? And info model, I just simply converted whatever that user display to display, email to email, and email ID to email ID, right? But here I also have to add it the roles, right? Which we have to just add it over here, right? And this is that role, and in this roles, right, how we can get that roles? Simply, so that is important, that's why I not copy paste. So yeah, you can use that user, and inside that user you can get that custom claims, right? Inside this custom claims you can use it, whatever custom claims actually we are getting, like, so actually how we are storing the data, that is important. So that's why you can understand actually how we are trying to store the data on a custom claims. So basically we have to trying to store the data. For example, I can show you over here, like for example here. So I will store as a data in the custom killing, like for example is admin. For example, it should be a dictionary, right? So is admin, and that value would be is a true or true or false, whatever things. So like that actually I have to store that claim. So that's why we have to retrieve the data and we have to convert it. Okay, if it is admin, so basically for that UI it will treat as a admin. If a is admin true, that means is the user has a roles of that admin. If is admin is false, so that means user does not have a user roles of that admin, right? So like that we have to use. And why I'm using this approach, I'll tell you, because it is for that security rules. Like in the further session I will show you that rules, how we can authenticate that rules so that our data can secure using that Firebase rules. So that's why I'm using this guy. So let me add it over here, and over here simply I can use that lambda expression, and in this lambda expression I can use that value. So whatever, actually see, this is that dictionary, right? So whatever values we are getting, so that if it is true, so then yeah, I can use this guy. Okay, so this is object, right? So this is object. So what I will do, simply I will change it to bool, so that I can convert it to as a bool. And then if it is true, then to list, right? To list, yeah. So once to list, and then we have to select it. Actually we have to select it, whatever that key we have to getting, so that we have to select it over here. And in that again we have to use another for example this guy lambda expression, and here whatever that key, right? So let me use s dot key. Now see, this time I can get the key, whatever the key, I will get that key, this guy. But we have to store like in our user, like admin, user and all, right? So let me show you one more things over here so that you can understand. Okay, so like for example user admin or is user is guy, right? So whatever that claims we are getting that is admin true or is user false, so that I will get it over here. So now we have to store as a roles. Now see, this is a list of string, right? So whatever roles we are getting as a key, we have to convert it again to our this list of string, right? Like for example only we have to store like this way. For example, remove this guy. If it is true, so then it is admin. If it is false, so that means nothing, right? So like this way actually we have to store. So for that we have to need to convert actually. So whatever key we are getting, we have to convert. So for that conversion, what I will do, I have to simply, I can create a one dictionary, or we can keep it some other place as well, that up to you. But yeah, I will show you over here. Now see, I have to just create a one dictionary, so that whatever key I have to pass over there, like suppose I have to pass this key, so they will returning this guy. I have to pass this key, so they will returning this guy, right? So yeah, that's why actually see, simply I just filter out whatever that custom. If it is true, like suppose we have a 3 roles and 3 roles is a true, so that means we get that 3 roles, and that 3 roles has a their key, we have to pass that key, and that key it will match over here and returning this this information, means that value, right? So for that, simply what I can do, I can use the dictionary over here, like key, whatever that key map, right? I am using key map, and just pass it to the key. I can simply pass like that, and let me bring to new line so that you can see easily. Okay, so here simply add it over like that and make it to list, right? And that's it, right? So now see, I'm getting this data, right, as a to list. Finally I can select it a single keys, like whatever keys, and they will convert it over here and assigning to that roles, like whatever that user roles, right? So this is done, and finally we can terminate over here, and we have that user model, right? And once you get that user model, we have to simply add it in our list, this list which we have to trying to prepare over here, right? So simply I add it over here. So iterate how many times of user, like if it is 10 user, so they will convert it to 10 times, right? And then add it over here. So once you add it over here, now finally we have to bind, actually now we have to data over here, now we have to bind in our over here. So for binding we have to use that guy, what is that, quick grid, right? So in this quick grid we have to require, iQueryable list. So let me just create a one more property. This is a user list, which is I just prepared the iQueryable, and we have to store all the data, whatever data we have to store over here, right? So that we have to store over here. So once iterate all that iteration completed, right? So once the iteration complete, for each complete, after that for each, like this here, right? So after for each I can simply assigning whatever that user informations, this user information as a to list, and we can ask queryable, so that we can assign to iQueryable list. That's it. So now our data got ready, right? Now we can binding, we can start our binding. So let me start, or let me create our HTML so that our user can bind it over here. So let me copy that complete design. I'm not going to show that design because I already covered, if you see my another's here, like I already covered over here the total management system. In here I using that quick grid, so same grid I will use it over here to bind the data, right? And this is same things. Let me remove extra things over here. Now see, I just use that user list binding over here, right? And as of now, let me comment it out this guy so that I can show you why I'm just using this guy, because this is important actually. So that's why I can keep it over here, and this is roles, right? And yeah, so these are actions. As of now we don't have these are actions. So what I will do, simply I can just comment it over here and save it. Now see, all that error has been gone. And what I'm trying to do over here, see, I show that display list over here, and I show that email ID, right? And also if you want to that phone number, you can show it over here. And then here that role bindings, right? So whatever roles we have, that we trying to bind, if role has a value, so that we trying to bind it over here. And else if it does not have a role, so simply we can say no role assign over here, or something like whatever things you can. And this is that actions, like edit actions and delete actions we will do in a later, but yeah, as of now we can just comment it over here, and that's it, right? So now see, our implementation got done, and this is that our method has been created, and this method I will call it to in our onInitialize component, right? So let me just create it onInitialize component over here using that override method, onInitialize lifecycle look method of that Blazor component. So where is that onInitialize method? Yes, this is that onInitialize method, and here simply I can call, remove this guy and call it to this guy. So that's it. And also we have to use this is async await, right? So now we are good to call this user to another from our nav menu, right? So now go back to shared library and go to layout section and go to that main layout, not main layout, actually we have to go to the nav menu. And in this nav menu we have to just create actually another nav, so that I can just click on over here and I can call that things, right? Because we already see, we have already decorate whatever authentication user can see. So similar we have to do that for that users list, so that only user, which user means authenticated, so that user only can see that list, right? So for this where I can put it over here, so see, this is that total list, and after that I can use it this guy, right? So now see, I can wrap that authorize view and then authorize, and simply I am using this users and that user list. That's it, right? So implementation perspective, like component perspective, it is done. I can get that records over here, right? But yeah, if you run these things, right? So if you run these things for our web application, so there is some dependency, right? So let me show you, or let me understand actually. Go back to again that pages or account. Yeah, now see, there is a dependency. If you, yeah, see, this Firebase auth is a library, right, which we this is a class, right, which we are trying to use. So this is a dependent, right? So that we have to just configure in our, applications, like our, suppose our platform, like this is a web applications, and this is our MAUI application. So we have to just, decorate, or we have to resolve the dependency of that particular things, so that I can use that one, right? So go to that, web application first project, and go to that program.cs file, and scroll down, and we already done. Now see, we have to resolve the other dependency, like which we have done in last time, like Firebase auth client and Firebase client, right? Many things we have done. So similar, I have to done, I have to just resolve the dependency of that Firebase things, right? So how we can do that? It is very simple. There's a many way actually you can do that. Like for example, Firebase, right? Firebase app. So let me use that Firebase app. This is that Firebase app class, right? And actually we have to record that namespace. So let me bring that namespace. Yeah, so look like, see, look like I already added over here a package, but it is not over there, right? So might be we have to build it so that I can get it from here. So let me save it and first up build it, so that whatever package I just added our shared library, so I can get it from here as well. Okay, now finally that compiled successfully, right? And once we compile successfully, now I can able to see that package over here. Now see, I'm getting that package, right? So also it is importing directly over here. And then if you to try to over here, so see, simply you can just like that, right? If you just create it over here, right, like this way, and we have a, there is a many wings, actually many overload method, so that we can use it over here. So like for example, I'll show you. So see, there's a for overload method. First one, we have to just create these things, and then we have to globally, actually we have to set that environment, so that will fine. But there is another way, like we can just use that app options, right? And inside that app option, we can use that Google credentials, and we can pass it to directly about that private key. So that approach we have to try to use over here. So what I can do, simply that new Firebase, or just app options, right? App options. Yeah, this is the app options, and inside this app options, let me over here. Now see, there's a many things over here. So what I will do, I will use that credentials, and in this credentials I have to just pass, or I have to just using that Google credentials, right, which we have to just storing. And in this Google credential, there's a many way, like you can get it from that, from file, from JSONs, right? So you can use it. But yeah, as of now over here, I will use that from that files, and I have to pass that path where actually I have store our files, right, in this your applications, like in this project. So I can use it this way. Like for example, I can simply create a one folder over here. Let me create a one folder in this root, right? And create a folder, call it to Firebase auth, right? And in this Firebase auth, whatever I just download that key, right, that JSON file, so that I can use it over here. So simply I can just copy, and I can just paste it over here. Now see, this is that file which we have to download it, right? I just copy from there and paste it over here. If you want to see inside that, now see, nothing, whatever that information we have. So those are things like we have a private key, private ID key, project ID, and or other information, right? So these are information we have to record. So simply nothing you have to do, just get it that data from that, means that file, and we have to just keep it over here. And here you have to simply just mention that location, like this is the my Firebase auth folder, and then whatever the file name, so I can just keep it over here, right? So like this way you have to just configure in your environment. Like suppose I'm using that web application project, so I have to do that, and similar I have to use that .NET MAUI one. So similar things I have to do that, but yeah, there that would be a slightly different, that I'll show you. But yeah, first let me run it from that web application and see it is working or not, right? So let me run it from web application first. So now it's already logged in, right? So because already token is there, so that's why it is logged in. But I'll show you that logged out and try to log in. So just log in, whatever that password, this is my password, and sign in. So this is one sign in. So this is a sign in. I am able to see that log out and as well as the information. Once I click that user list, now I am getting that, see, the same data I am getting, right? The roles as well, and whatever roles that particulars we have, so I'm getting over here, right? So as of now that look feel is not good, but yeah, will add some style and all, so that look feel can better. But yeah, for that implementation perspective, it is perfectly working fine. That's whatever that existing one also that is working fine. But yeah, for here this also working fine. Now what I need to do, let me add over here, or just what I can do, yeah, let me complete first the implementation, right? And then we will show you like how we can use that, like web application as well as that other, that desktop application and mobile application as well, because there is a slightly different approach we have to do that to configuration. Apart from this, everything's looks same, right? So now see, this is done. Now we have to implement that, add it on update things as well, right? So that we will use, and before that I'll just simply log out and let me create another user so that I can show you. Once I create a new user, that also user should available also over here. So let me try to log out and go here, click that here. So here I can just create a new user. So for example, it is a web application user, right? Web app user, right? And that user, for example, web app @gmail.com, and password would be our default password, and register. So it is registered now. So it is registered, so it is logged in user. So what is my web app @gmail.com? And also before logged in, I'll show you. See, whatever user I just created, that should be created over here. See, the user got created without that mobile number, only just email ID, right? Now go back and just logged in with the password, sign in. So I guess I just added wrong password. Let me edit the right password. Now see, I'm logged in over here, right? And once you're logged in, click on that user list. Now see, you are able to see that new user which does not have any roles, because as of now we don't have assigned any user role, right? That's why it's not available. But yeah, user information over there. So let me start to implementation that one. So we will implement that edit part, and then we will implement the delete part. So close that and go back to your applications and go back to again that shared folder, because everything we have to implement in the shared folder, right? So go to over here, where is that users? Yeah, here that user. So go to here. Now see, we have to implement first that edit, then delete. So let me close, means open this guy and commented this guy, right? So now we just open that edit implementation. So that edit implementation, I have to required that we have to create a new function that edit, so that whatever context we are getting, we can use it and navigate to that another page, right? So that we have to do that. So first I have to just create a simply edit method. Go down, and let me collapse everything. And this is that method. And here I just create a new method, edit, right? And this is model actually, which we are trying to get it over here. And here simply I have to navigate, right? So let me add a navigation manager over here as a injectable property, so that I can navigate other here. So let me inject over here, right? So this is that navigation property. and once I navigate property, I can simply navigate to over there. So go down and I can navigate. Now see, navigation dot navigate to, and this is that another page where actually I have to handle add and edit user things, right? So I have to create a comma. I will create a common component and pass it to that, that whatever particular user, like suppose I want to edit, so definitely I have to pass that edit id, right? That particular uid, so that I have to pass it. And let me create this guy, means that component, because that component now we have to implement, right? So go to here and right click add razor, and let me create a new component for add update user, right? And create it. So in here, simply what I can do, first of all, I have to just decorate that page directive, right? So this is my page directive, and then what I can do, I can just implement over here. So first of all, I have to get it one, because see, I have just passing that parameter, right? So whatever the URI parameter passing, that I have to just receive over here. So for that, I have to just same name, I have to just create the parameter property like similar this guy. So I can get it that UID. So once I get that UID, so now whatever model I have to just binding, so that I have to create another property, that model binding, right? Which will have to binding in our use edit form, add form on edit form, right? So that's why we have to require this guy. And one more property we have to require, which is user roles. Whatever user got selected, so that actually handle over here, like user can select it 3 roles, 5 roles and 6 roles, whatever roles they will actually store in this selected roles. So this 3 property we have to require. And now we are good to go to store. We have to create that on initialize method, or we can use that on render or on parameter set, whatever things actually, so that we can use it. But yeah, I'll use that on initialize method, right? In this on initialize method, I have to call again that Firebase Auth class, so that I can get that whatever that current user data, right? So Firebase Auth client, right? And default instance dot, we have that method get user. So see, in this get user, there's a overload method. So what is that overload method? There's a 2 overload method. First up, you have to just pass whatever that UID. So you can just pass that UID, you will get that particular user based on that UID, right? So whatever my UID is this guy, right? And simply I can just terminate over here, and we can store as a where user, right? So now I'm get that user, and once I get that user, now I have to just convert it to this model, because see, this is that returning some other user record data, right? So that I have to convert it from here. So for that, what I can do, simply I can just convert it like this way. It's just simple approach, but yeah, we can use other approach as well. Now that user as that user ID, but yeah, it is not getting. Why? Because see, this is asynchronous method, right? So what I can use, simply I have to use that await async, so that I can get the data. Now see, I'm getting this information, along with we have to require that additional logic we have to implement, like that user selected, and user selected roles, and what are the roles, right? So for that, first actually we have to whatever that our users, right, user roles. So let me assign over here as like we have done previously, right? So we have done previously, like whatever that roles we have, like if you go back to users, now see, we have to just whatever that roles in the custom claims, we have to convert it, right? So similar, we have to again convert it to back, like suppose this time we will get that something else, right? So that we will convert it over here again to that reverse order. So same things we have to do over here. For example, similar I can do over here. So user custom claims, and then just whatever the true, like whatever that custom claims as a true, we are getting over here. And then simply same thing actually we have to do over here. And yeah, so let me bring back to that code so that you can easily see over here. Now see, this is done. And also see, this is that missing, right? So this we have to just create it over here. So that's why I told you this is that we have to keep it that common place so that we don't need to write again and again. So that we can do that, yeah, that we can do better. But as of now I can keep it over here. Now I can get it over here, and the data, whatever the data and the key, we can returning as a roles over here, right? So like this way we can do that. And why is complaining? Okay, yeah, actually I'm missing something over here. So yeah, that I need to fix it. So yeah, I missed that done period. So now see, simply again I have to just convert it whatever that current role, like is admin to admin, is user to user, that I assigning to over here as a list of that string, right? And then once it's done, now further we have to just using whatever the selected role, right? So we have to assign as a selected roles whatever that user model as a roles, we have to just using that that roles, right? And rows we have to convert it to array and it assign to our selected roles, right? So that is done. Now finally we have to assign that roles as well. So that is done, right? So now see, as of now we required that role. So that is two way, like you can just get it from that Firebase, you can just add it some get roles collection and you can get it over here. But yeah, as of now I can just simply create a dummy data over here. But yeah, in this way also you can just create it as a from that collection, you can get it the data from here as well, there as well, right? So for here I have to just create, that roles. I think I roles already have or not. Yeah, I don't have a roles model. So let me just create a role model over here so that I can add some roles over here. So where is my row models? So here's my role models, and just created a new class, added the roles, and in this roles we have to require two property, the ID and name. I just prepare over here so that I in future I can, if I want to calling that DB Firebase real-time DB or any other DB, so I can just assign to over here, I can use it. So that's why I just created this model and go back. Now now we have the data and all, right? And the data I can assign that user. So whatever, see, this is selected roles, like how many roles that particular user, so that we are assigning into selected roles. And that whole role size, whatever that user system has a roles like admin, user, HR, account, finance and others, right? So those I can assigning, and then you can select it over here. So this is the way. So that is done, I guess. So this is done for that binding part, right? Means once I just get it, means once I just loaded this component, so whatever that user form, so that easily I can just bind it, right? So let me yeah, let me just complete that other function as well. Now see, it is that binding part, right? But we have to record that update as well, right? Like for example, like I have to just update that data, like once I just select it, once I change something, so I can update as well. So that update method also we have to record. So let me quickly create that update method as well. So let me quickly create a method, for example, whatever method. So yeah, we can create an update user or add user or add update user, whatever things, because we can handle both things over here. So that we can do that. Yeah, so before that, first we have to just using a try catch so that we can any issue, so we can identify easily. So that's why I can just create a try catch. And first of all I have to just check it over here, like if UUID means whatever that URI ID, so that is not null. So that means it is, if it is null, so that means it is add operation, right? So we can add operation, but as of now we have to update over here. So that I will do over here. And for that, what I can do, again I have to use that method. Which method? Be that class, actually not method. So this one, Firebase Auth distance default instance dot default instance, and dot we have a method looking for method in update user. And see, in this update user we have to record that user record informations, right? So that user information we have to just create it over here. So let me quickly create over here. So I have to just create it that particular class, and then assign that whatever the user, like as of now that user model has all that information, right? So just we are getting an assigned to that update user, right? And other things also you can edit, but yeah, I have to just update it, email, display name and phone number, these three things. So that's why I'm assigning over here along with that UUID, right? And then what I can do, I have to simply pass to that model to over here and use that await, right? And just terminate over here, right? And once you see, it will returning that user record as well, so that we can store as a response, like whatever the response we are getting, so we can store it over here. And further we have to do one more thing. Actually, see, that update user method does not update or does not add a new claim, so that has a different method. So that's why I have to get that response, and then based on that response, suppose if a response is it's true, means it is updated, right? So once I update it, so then I have to just add we have to call another method, is same method, means same class method, like Firebase or default instance, and set custom claims. So this is that method actually. And this method, what we required actually what user you want to add claims. So this is that user UID and whatever the claims you want, and that claims also we have to record on a string I read only dictionary, which is a string and object, right? So this is a collections of that string that we have to pass. So first let me pass that UUID over here, and now second things we require that claims, right? So let me just get it the claims, because see, all that selected user, right? So that is a selected user, that selected user has that all that user information selected means whatever that roles information, right? So that we have to just using over here, and we have to just putting some logic that. So what I can do simply, let me create a logic so that I can get it from here, because as of now if you see, this is a list of string, right? But this claims required dictionary, so that we have to convert it as well. So what I can do simply, before that, here let me create this guy. Now see, whatever selected user, I can use this selected and roles, right? And that is a roles, and then we have to just convert it to dictionary, and the to dictionary also we have to convert it. See, whatever roles we have that admin, user and all that. But once I try to add a user roles, right, claims, we have to claim, so that we have to add it like is admin. But if it is admin, so it is admin, or is user, is HR, is account, like that way. So like this is the reverse order which we have to done over here, and if it is not done, so then it is over here. And finally every value, this is the key, right? This is the key, and every value we have to just set is the true, because whatever that value, like suppose if it is match, right? If it is match, so then we have to store as a true, so that we can store as a true, right? So simply nothing have to do that, simply just claims, we can just add it over here and pass it to that. That's it, right? Now claim also got updated over here, and once you claim updated successfully, we can simply go to our user list, right? So now still we have to require that navigation thing. So let me quickly create or injected navigation manager over here on the top, and now we are good to go. And if it any exception, so you can store and you can show it over here like that. Now see, implementation perspective, it is also done, right? Now what I will do, I have to just binding the form over here. So let me quickly bind that form, which I already handy. So where is my code? Here is my code, and just copy paste over here, right? So what I do, I just simply create edit form, right? This is my update user method, and this is my user model, and this is the validation and all, right? And this is just we have to set it. Okay, this is the display name, this is that email, this is that phone number, and this is user role. And user role, we have to just binding the selected roles and also just binding that roles, right? And also we have that submit button. That's it. It is a pretty simple form, right? So now our this part also done. Now we are good to go to run our application and see in edit part also is working or not, right? So yeah, so let me run it, and we got some error, right? So what is that error? Let me fix. Okay, now see SVG something, it's not working. Okay, so now see, I am using that SVG icon, so that also using that namespace. So let me quickly take it that namespace, and this namespace I have to keep it globally, so that that error I can avoid implementation. So yeah, where is my import razor? Here I can just edit over here, right, and build it. Now will succeed. Now run it. Okay, now previously I already logged in, right? So that's why it's logged in, right? And if you go to that user list, now this button also appearing. So once I click this guy, so it's go to that page and see this is that user which we trying to update it, right? And also we have got that username and all that, but yeah, user information miss, phone number is missing, and also role is not selected because there is a no roles, right? So go back to again, I'll show you one more thing. Now see, this user has 2 roles, right? So that got selected as well. So once I click this guy, now see these 2 roles got selected along with the number, right? So this new user which we have just created does not have anything, that's why it's not selected. So what I will do, simply I'll just select it to, I will give that user roles that account, and also I just put that number. Also make sure, so this is that number, so which should not be duplicate, and also it should be required, plus or a steady code that particular country, so that actually required. So let me add some random number, for example 1 2 3, and just update it. So once I update it, now see it's got updated, and also whatever user roles I have to assign, so that roles also we are getting over here along with that number. So once I click again, you will see that number is appearing over here with the selection mode, right? And same things we can check it over here, refresh. Now here I can see that number along with that roles not visible over here, but yeah, roles is there, right? So like that, actually this is also done, means update also done. So go back over here. So now edit, means edit and update also done. Now what I can do, I can do the delete part. So let me quickly delete one also handling. So how we can delete? So go back to where is my delete? So go to delete, yeah. So user, in this user, simply delete is a pretty much simple. Yeah, so simply just unlock this, means uncomment this guy, right? And once I uncomment, we have to just create another delete function in this below, and just delete function we have to just create it over here, and delete is simple. For example, go down, and after edit or before edit, it's not mention, it is not matter actually. So here now delete, right? And again I have to use that same class, right? Means Firebase Auth, that default instance dot delete user, and this delete user, see it is expecting a UUID. So that UUID where we can get from this guy e.uid, whatever the collection. So awaited, right? And that's it, right? So whatever user we are getting, so we can adding over here. But yeah, one more thing we can do that, but yeah, as of now I don't want to do that, which I have already done in our that hotel list. which we is trying to do before delete. We have to get that confirmation. So if confirmation yes, so then we have to trying to delete. But yeah, as of now we are not going to that. But if you want to, you can just follow my that previous session and you can just do that. So simply once you delete, you can just call that load testing method, so that whatever the latest data we can get it again and binding over here. And one more thing we have to do, that we have to just use that state change, so that whatever current state that can got changed over here. So see, the delete method also done, and yeah, that error also gone. And one more things before run this application, I will just make it some style as well. So let me create a let me stop that and create some style so that it feel better as well. So right click on that, on this here, and create another style component. Go to here, CSS, and style CSS, create over here user dot razor dot css, and yeah, it is nice inside that. And we have to just add some style over here. So let me add some style. So this is that normal style which I already shared. So whatever that style I'm just adding, so this is the common style, right? So that we can feel better in our user list, right? Okay, so once it's done, now we can check it, our delete function also it's working or not. So let me run it. So now my application got running, right? And let me go to that user list. Now still it is not reflection, but yeah, I think we can log out and close. I think then it will good to go. Okay, so let me log out, logged in, and let me refresh, right? And just logged in again. So what is my user? This is my user, and this is my password, and sign in. Once I sign in, go to that user list. Now see a style also appearing perfectly, and that style also appearing. Now edit also should work, right? It is also working. Go back to user list, and also you can just put that back button also over here, so that you can back it over here. And also you can just click that add button, so that you can add new user also here. That is fine. But yeah, let me try to delete, right? So let me try to delete this guy. Now see, it's got deleted. Now we have only two user also, so that means it is perfectly working fine. So now we will run these things in our mobile application as well desktop application. So let me close it, and now we have to do one thing. Now go to that that project. Now see, shared project, web project is done. Now we have to do over here same things we have to do, but here there's a one problem actually. So in the .NET MAUI, if I storing the directly we required actually this file over here, so that we can read it, right? So this file actually read that particular platform. So that's why what I need to do, so if you go to the resource, and inside this raw folder, see, this is the raw folder. Inside this we have to keep that file, so that we can read it and we can assign and we can register over here. So that's why you have to. So what I can do, simply just copy this file and paste it over here. This is one thing you have to do that. So this is one thing, you have to just keep it your file in this row over here, right? And then one more thing you have to do, right click on that, go to that properties, and instead of content, right, so you have to use MAUI asset, right? So that you have to just select it, and that's it. These two things you have to do that. So once you save it and go to that MAUI.program.cs file, and here below that you have to just register that things what we have to done in our here, right? So simply that we have to do just, okay, let me copy from there. Let copy from that web application project file. Let me copy this guy, because we have to slightly different approach we have to do from there. So that's why just I'll show you. Okay, so now see, if I trying to this approach, like we have to trying to get that file from directly from that file using that path, so that is not working actually. So that's why what I can do, simply remove this, right? And instead of this from file, we will get it from JSON, right? We will use this method so that whatever JSON we have to pass it over here, and then we have to. So how we can get the JSON from that file? So for that, what I can do, I have that class, actually file system, which will support in MAUI, which have that this guy file system dot, we have that open app packages, right? And in this open that packages, what I can do, whatever that our file name, so this is my file name, just copy this guy and copy this guy and go back to here and pass it to over here. So this is my file name, right? And this will be get it over here as a stream value. See, this is that stream value, and we can store as a over here the stream. And once I get it, right, then we have to just we have to get that stream, right? So now we have to read that stream data from that stream reader. So what I can do, I can just use it that new stream reader class, and inside this class we have to just pass that stream like that. Okay, and also we have to just store as a reader over here like this. And also it is complaining. Why it's complaining? Because see, this is a asynchronously we have to use, right? This is a asynchronous method. So what I can do, simply I can use that result, right? And so that I can get the data, and then we can pass it over here. Now see, we are getting the data from in this reader, and in this reader, so we can use that reader dot read. So reader dot read to end. So in this read to end, async method or whatever things we can use it, but yeah, that is fine. I can use this guy. So in this read async, see, in this read async will be returning whatever the data as a we have the data this file as a JSON string, right? So that we will getting, and we have to set it. So this is the way actually we have to do that. This is a simple way we have to do that in our .NET MAUI project. So once it's done, now we are good to go to run in our MAUI application. So let me select that one, and first I will run it this window machine. So let me run it. Finally got running over here in a desktop app. So let me try to log in. So kkp@gmail.com, kkp123, and sign in. So once I sign in, I think it is not right password. Let me add the password. Yeah, now got running. And if you go to that user list, now see, desktop is also running perfectly. There's no issue. Also if I click that, also got selected, and go back. Also if I trying to delete, so should be delete. So let me try to delete. Yeah, that's got also delete. So same things we will try to in our MAUI app mobile application as well. So let me choose it to Android to this guy and run it to without debugging mode, so that we can show you all that application, all the platform in a together. Now finally got deployed on Android application as well. So it is launch, and now try to logged in kkp.com, and this is my password, sign in. So yeah, it's got logged in. If you go to that user list, yeah, now I got that user list. But yeah, one thing, see that yeah, that's why actually I remove one logic, so that will add it. For example, see, I don't want to in our mobile application, if you see, there's some design issue, right? Because they are not actually, the mobile display is very small, so all that field is not appearing properly. So that's why I put that some logic, so that only mobile application can display that only just display name or role and these things. And apart from this, in a big screen, for example desktop and web application, they will display all that other things as well. So that's why I put that condition. But yeah, for that functionality perspective, let me see, it is working fine now. Yeah, it is perfectly working fine on that here as well. So if I try to update, for example, I just add one more over here and just update it, and once I update it, now see, it's got updated with this 4 roles, right? And also if I want to delete, so that will be delete. But yeah, I will not delete over here. So what I will do, simply I will just log out over here, and let me create a new user, and there that user will be deleted over here. So for example, mobile user, right? And mobile@gmail.com, akp@123, and register. Once you registered, it's got registered. Now mobile@gmail.com, it was my that email id, and password would be my default password. So sign in. Once you sign in, go back to a user list. Now see, this is new user also there. And if I if I just edit, so now see, I can see no user over there, means no roles over there, and phone number also is not there. So that we can edit. But yeah, let me try to delete, let me try to add some roles. For example, account, and this guy selected, updated, and it's got updated over here. And now try to delete this guy. So let me click on delete. Now see, that user also got deleted. So that means that desktop application, this application, and also web application is working fine perfectly for all the platform. So that's all. Thank you, have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.